All right, everybody. Hey, hope everybody had an awesome Christmas, and we're getting ready to do a flight here. So, if you don't already know, I am Bug Eater 64, and getting ready in this next week to start the new year, 2020. 2019 has been an awesome year for flying sims, and I'm really looking forward to the coming up year. So, we're going to do a ferry flight in the Bell412. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be moving it from Lahita Field in Lahita Field, Texas. And where we're going to be moving it to is to San Angelo Regional, Mathis, San Angelo, Texas. And it's just a little more than 200 miles. And like I said, this is a ferry flight, so we're not making any money on it, but we are going to log it into FSEconomy so that we get credit for the flight. So with that, let's get in the helicopter and let's get going, shall we? Glad to have you along for the ride.
Lighting will appear. Follow the lights until you've reached your exit. Leave all carry-ons behind. Just head quickly and safely to the nearest exit, and don't forget.
So while the
airplane loses
crew
pressure,
briefs
oxygen mask will drop automatically.
people coming with us, they're just some friends that are going to fly with us on this, but we're going to have to give them the safety briefing all the same. So let's go ahead, and we got the external power connected, we've got the remove before flight, and let's get the batteries on, the inverters on, and our anti-collision lights on, so people can see what we're doing and, you know, get our aircraft ready to go here. Alright, so with that, check our throttles and our controls. Everything seems to be free and clear, ease of operation. So let's go ahead and start get a little fuel to this bird.
In the water, a light on your vest will illuminate. And please, only inflate your vest outside the airplane.
Alright.
Now, your seat cushion may be used.
So hydraulics are on. Force trim is already set. And we are ready to start engines. So, engine 1 starting up.
We'll be back with more information. And if you need anything, don't hesitate to ask. As always, we're here to make your flight great.
Okay, so the cabin crew has done their thing, and engines are starting. Engine 1 looks good. We'll let it stabilize here, and then we'll start engine number 2. And we're starting up engine number 2. And as you can see in the upper left-hand corner, we have logged into FSEconomy, so we get credit at least for the movement of the aircraft. That way when we get ready to set up our next FSEconomy flight, we'll be at our proper location. And engine 2 is started up, and it's looking good. So both engines are started up. Autopilots and our SAS is good. Let's go ahead and get the generators on. So all systems look good. And let's get our navigation set up here. Alright, with that, let's take a look at our Garmin. And KSJT is our destination today. Put it on GPS. And let's go ahead and double check. It looks like it's activated already, but I'm going to double check that just to make sure. So we should be in good shape. As you can see, we're at 89 TE, Lahita. And everything's looking good and ready to go. So with that, we can get rid of external power. And we should be just about ready here to run up our RPMs and be on our way. RPMs are looking good. And we're just going to adjust our RPMs just a little bit. Make sure they're in the green. Alright, so that's all looking good. Go ahead and set our flight trim, or our takeoff trim. In this part of Texas, there's just a lot of brown to see, but we're going to get in the air here pretty quick. Here we go. Everything's working just the way it's supposed to. So alright, let's head in the right direction here. Gain a little speed and altitude. And we want to set our airspeed at just over 100, which is a good cruising speed for this helicopter. It can go faster, but just over 100, 105, 106 really works well. And we're going to set our climb rate at about 500 feet a minute. So once we get that set, and our trim set. Alright, so vertical speed 500. And we're going to set our airspeed. Right now it's at just about right. And we'll go ahead and put it on nav mode and autopilot activated. So now it's just a matter of enjoying the flight and looking at all this beautiful Texas landscape. This brown and brown and more brown landscape. Now I must say, depending upon the time of the year and depending on the location, Texas is a beautiful state. But you got to pick and choose where you go. Otherwise, it can look a lot like this, where it's just brown dirt, a lot of sage brushes, and stuff like that. Because if you don't watch yourself, This landscape can kill you, because sometimes water can be hard to find. Alright, so let's go ahead and make sure our course is set. It's 046. And set our heading then. Okay. And as you can see, we're climbing very nicely. This flight is 207 miles long, so at just over 100 miles, it's going to take us just under 2 hours to get there. And this 412 is just a really fine helicopter. I like it. That's why I got it for my business. Carry 14 passengers. It's a little bit short on range. You don't want to push it more than probably about 300 miles, realistically. But at certain locations in FSEconomy, you can make good money doing those short flights, and so that's what it's there for. Unfortunately, at Lahita, 89 Tango Echo, there was just nothing as far as business going out of that airfield, other than back to where I came from. And that was a long flight, and I wasn't interested in going back and forth from there. I prefer to find short flights that may not make as much money initially, but it costs less to make the flight, and therefore the payout overall works out better. So that's why we're moving to helicopter. And the airfield we are going to, there are numerous opportunities. And one of my flight sim buddies, Cajun Josh, flies out of that airport, and so we thought we'd stop in and maybe have a brew or two with him. So the helicopter is operating optimal limits, as they say. In other words, it's working just fine. And with today's flight, I don't need a lot of altitude. probably leveling off at about 7,500 feet, even though I only need about 6,000 to ensure that I cover the tops of any hills we might run into, or climb over, fly over. Run into is a bad choice of words. So today is December 28th, 2019, and ain't got no snow. Okay, so we're gonna hold altitude here. It's interesting that I'm located in upstate South Carolina. We're flying a sim in lower part of Texas, and another sim flying friend of mine, Dion Soul, lives in around Central California or Southern California, and he was out shoveling snow this morning. So, I'm looking at temperatures in the 60s, and he was, when I talked to him this morning, just before I started this flight, he was actually had a temperature of about 34 degrees. So it was a bit cool. They actually had snow on December 26th, which is kind of rare for where he's at, because he's actually in the high desert, not far from Edwards Air Force Base, out there in Southern California. So, weird weather this year. And so we are just having a very pleasant, laid-back flight. Not worried about time, not worried about no pressures or anything like that. We're just laid back, enjoying the ride, looking at the countryside. And I certainly hope everyone that's watching this enjoyed their Christmas. However you had things planned. Hope you ate too much good food and good company with family and friends. Me, it was just me and Mrs. Bug Eater, and we sure had a good time ourselves. Had an absolutely beautiful day. Okay, yes, we are moving along just fine. All aircraft systems working as they should. Indicated airspeed is about 101 and our ground speed is about 132, so we've got a pretty good tailwind with this. So as we move along, we will see you when we get closer to landing. Hope you have a good time and enjoy the flight. We'll talk to you again soon. Okay, and we are getting closer. Hope you enjoyed our little musical interlude. We've started our descent. I set up the VNAV in the Garmin 530, which you have to basically do it manually. Set it up so that when at 500 feet a minute, to get down to 2,000 feet, 3.3 miles away from our landing location, I needed to start that approximately 12 and a half miles, or 12 minutes and 30 seconds away from our destination. So we have hit that, and that's why we are, at this time, we are losing altitude at 500 feet a minute, still maintaining our original speed, and I'll be slowing that down as we get closer to about 60 knots, but we'll get a lot closer before I do that. So up till this point, flight completely uneventful. All systems are working fine. Gonna take a look at the airport we're going to. And that's not it. Okay. Let's try it again. First time I didn't do it in caps. Let's try it this time. And no, I don't want to go there. I want to go to KSJT. All right, we're gonna get this figured out. And well, that's the right one. You know what the problem was? It was pilot error. I was typing in KSJF instead of KSJT. Okay. I have once again proven that I am human. That I am truly perfect within my imperfection, ergo I am perfect. I am never wrong, although I am sometimes in error, which happened this time when I typed in the wrong location. Okay, so that's where we're going very shortly. And as we get closer to our location, we're going, our destination, it's not as barren here. A lot more greenery. I do like greenery. Although during my life I have enjoyed the desert. Certain times of the year it is absolutely beautiful. The desert, especially the high desert, and the desert flowers bloom. Oh yes, just gorgeous. Okay, well, we're going to hold this altitude, and we're going to start slowing it down some. Getting very close to our destination. Just right there. It's 1,918 feet above sea level. Just our barometric here, which is 2976. Okay, and the aircraft is now mine. It's a little tricky sometimes when you're switching from autopilot back to manual. But we're doing just fine today. And we'll continue to lose a little altitude and slow down. And the airfield is dead ahead. Okay, in the lower right-hand corner is an outside view of our helicopter on approach, and on the left lower corner, that is a view of our helicopter from the tower. You might enjoy that as we approach the airport and get ready for landing. We're dropping about a little over 200 feet a minute, and we're slowing down from 60 knots, slowly slowing down to eventually I'll be at just below 20 knots. keeping our eye not to exceed our 500 feet a minute and maintaining forward speed so we don't get into vortex ring state, or VRS. And the Bell412 flies quite well in the X-Plane 11's experimental flight model. Haven't had any real issues with it. And I have not seen any designated helicopter landing pads, so I'm going to pull up fairly close to that brick with white roof hangar up there, and we'll set her down. This looks like a pretty good spot, so we'll just ease her down right here. And all is done. Alright, so we've been able to land the helicopter.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our destination. For your safety and comfort, please remain seated until the captain turns off the fasten seatbelt sign. This will indicate that we have parked at the gate and it is safe to move around in the aircraft. Please check around your seat, including under your seat, as well as your seat pockets for any personal belongings. Please take care when opening the overhead lockers, as heavy articles may have shifted during the flight. If you require deplaning assistance, please remain in your seat until all other passengers have disembarked the aircraft. One of our crew members will then be happy to assist you. On behalf of our entire crew, I'd like to thank you for joining us today on our flight, and we hope to see you again.
Okay, so we've lowered the RPMs, and RPMs are dropping. We're going to go ahead and kill the fuel to the engines. We logged out of FSEconomy, so we got credit, and the aircraft is now set in its new location. So, anti-collision lights coming off, inverters off, generators off, batteries off, switch the lights off. Alright, so we'll let that slow down. And they've slowed enough we can use the brake, stop the rotor. Okay, and then we can put our remove before flight tie downs and everything back. We've got our external power set. We're good to go. Alright, well, flight completed. No incidents, completely, everything worked just like it's supposed to. So we're now sitting at KSJT, and here are plenty of jobs here, so we can make a little bit of money. And so with our next flight in FSEconomy, we'll be using the Bell412, and we'll be making a little bit of cash for the company. So it won't be long though. We'll be getting ready to do our maintenance on the engines, 100-hour checks and stuff. So we'll see how that goes. All right. Glad you came along. Hope you enjoyed the flight. And as always, this is Bug Eater 64. And until next time, safe flying.